Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the next stop in our Eccles Alumni virtual road trip today. We are so excited to be cracking the code of entrepreneurship with you all. As always, we'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsor, CR England, for making this series possible. And it's just been a great success. We're so excited to have you all along with us. Before we officially kick things off, I'd like to introduce Troy D'Ambrosio and Jack Britton, who will be hosting our panelists today. Troy D'Ambrosio is the Executive Director of the Lausanne Entrepreneur Institute and Assistant Dean here at the David Eccles School of Business. The Lausanne Institute assists students and faculty from idea to company launch through programs, competitions, and curriculum, and has consistently ranked as one of the best 25 programs for entrepreneurship in the nation by Princeton Review. I think as we move into the discussion today, it'll become very clear how we have secured such an incredible ranking. Troy is the co-founder, officer, and director of multiple startup companies that have attracted over $500 million in capital. He graduated from the University of Utah in 1982 and was named the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2000 and received the 2014 Governor's Medal for Excellence in Science and Technology, among countless other recognitions. Jack Britton is the Pierre Lassonde Presidential Chair in Entrepreneurship here at the David Eccles School of Business and is currently teaching Managing and Leading and Lending Innovation for the Management Department. He served as Dean for the Eccles School from 1999 to 2009 and as Vice President responsible for all university commercialization activities from 2005 to 2012. We are so lucky to have Troy and Jack hosting our discussion today with some incredible representatives from the Master of Business Creation program. Troy, Jack, I'm going to pass it to you to introduce our panelists and tell everybody a little bit more about the MBC program.
Great. Hey, thanks everybody for being here today. It's great to have you all join us and give us a chance to tell you about what we're doing in the Master of Business Creation program. And I'm here with my colleague, Jack Britton. He and I have been co-conspirators on this and other things at the Lausanne Institute for almost 20 years now. Jack, how are you doing today?
I am doing great and really glad to be here.
Great. So the Masters of Business Creation really came out of really 20 years of history of Jack and I working with student entrepreneurs. And what we saw really was a lot of our students that were getting some really good traction as entrepreneurs and starting companies and really getting to revenue and starting to figure out their business models, but needed an additional opportunity to kind of really focus on the business itself of being at the core of what they were doing, but also having the support of a structured educational program around that. And we looked at what we were offering in our master's programs, and we really didn't see anything that fit that. We also, over the years, Jack and I have had a lot of people come to us and say, I've been with my company, a company for 10 or 15 years, I'm going to quit, I'm going to start a business as an entrepreneur, and I would like some educational support. Should I go get an MBA? And we really looked at it and couldn't say that that was the right fit for either of those cases. The MBA program is really designed to teach you how to better manage an existing business and not really create a business from scratch as an entrepreneur. So we created a new program, the master's program. I'm going to let Jack talk about how the curriculum was designed and how different it is, but the really market fit was, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm working full-time on my business. I've never created a company. I need some support. I need some structure. I need some curriculum to help me do that. So Jack, I'll turn it over to you for a few minutes to kind of tell about the academic setting we put this in.
So from the inception of the Lausanne Center and later the Lausanne Institute, the core philosophy was student-centric in that students could really learn a lot they were doing, the actual entrepreneurial effort. And so we approached the curriculum from what has always worked for a long time for the Lausanne Institute, what's distinctive about it, and said, we're going to bring people in that have their own case study. We have no need to have 15 case studies because we got 15 case studies in the room. And that is how the program is designed to work, where every founder who's in the program is applying the course material real time to building their business. Now, this has required that we also think about our curriculum in a real different way, that it's modular, that it's highly coordinated between the faculty so they know what each other are teaching. They have cross commentary on what they're doing. And so it's a very unique from inception design in that the level of coordination amongst the faculty is very high, and all the faculty are focused on all the cases are always the businesses in the program. And we still have some other cases. There are things to learn by looking at other companies. There's things to learn from having entrepreneurial speakers. But the core learning experience is building the company. So we require people bring a company into the program. We're not a product development program. We're a company launch program. And everything is built around that. We also have had the benefit of some just tremendous mentoring faculty. Every founder in the program has an individual mentor they meet with weekly. We also have done things like there's a semester exam, which is a due diligence review. We have a large due diligence that people complete. And so it's a totally different kind of program. I think you'll get a sense from it as our founders talk about their learning experience, and you can see how fast we're able to accelerate companies to in some cases, really substantial revenues. Not in all cases. Some people are still kind of plugging away, getting launched, but they are launching. And that's one of the things we're very proud of, is that is a performance standard for our program of these businesses get sales, they get launched, and they're self-supporting.
Great, thanks, Jack. So 2 other points. One is we require all of the founders in the program to be full-time working on their companies, that they're not doing, this is in a side hustle, they don't have another job, they're working full-time. And as part of that, to support them, the Lassonde Institute and the David Eccles School of Business scholarships this program 100%. So we're not taking any revenue out of the, any resources out of the pockets of the founders. We don't take any equity in the businesses. We don't ask them to pay back a loan. We're really on the side of that. And so I'm happy today to have 4 current members of our cohort for this year for the MBC program, and then 2 founders from last year's program. And so I'm going to invite them in each, and they're going to do a quick introduction of themselves personally. And then we're going to jump in and have them each do a 2-minute presentation on their business, a pitch about what their company does, and then we'll open it up to questions. So first, I'd like to have Cody come on and introduce himself. Cody, turn on your microphone and your video. There you are. And introduce yourself, Cody.
Okay, sure. So my name's Cody. I'm the founder of Home Service Cloud. And I grew up helping my dad with his small heating and cooling business. So, when we were just kids, we'd go out on drops with him. And, eventually I got older and I became a software engineer. I got my computer science degree from the University of Utah College of Engineering. And now I'm actually a partner in my dad's HVAC business. So it's great being on. I'm excited for the chance to talk to everyone and introduce my business.
Great, thanks. Duval, why don't you come on? And Bill, why don't you come on? We'll have the 2 of you introduce yourselves.
Hello. So this is Dhaval from Hello GM. I am a co-founder, and my background is I did my master's in software engineering from California State University, Fullerton. And then my last job, I was a sales engineer doing sales, and I always have involved myself in various type of business, and last being the hotel business. So that's how, that's my background. It's a software engineer plus a business background. And I'm very excited to join this MBC class and learning a lot of new things. Thank you.
Earl, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Hello everyone, this is Vidal, co-founder of Hello GM. About my background, I have about 16 years of IT experience working for various industries, including healthcare, banking, as well as management companies. And I'm thoroughly enjoying my time with MBC and learning a lot to grow our company through the learnings we have.
Malia, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I am Malia Robinson, and I'm the founder of Defy Industries. I'm originally from Park City and actually just graduated from the University of Utah with my undergrad in marketing this past May. Utah native through and through, and I'm really honored to be here and get to talk to all of you guys.
Thanks, Malia. So Justin, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm Justin Ray, and I'm with Cinch. And I went to the University of Florida and have started. This is my 7th startup, Cinch. I have 2 successful exits from that, so I've always really enjoyed business and spent a lot of time in the data background and working with data and software. I use data for everything, from making pretty much any decision in my life if I'm going to move or get married or anything. I've used data for those aspects. And just last week is an exciting aspect. I just had our 3rd child a week ago today, so it's a very exciting aspect, and very excited to be here as well, and looking forward to sharing more about Cinch.
Great. And Dylan, please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Dylan Turner. I'm one of the co-founders of a company telemedicine product called Ducks.me. I am also from Salt Lake City originally. I went to the University of Utah and graduated in entrepreneurship. And I am excited to be here, honored to be part of this group of professionals. And I'm really excited actually for the ski season. Just bought some new skis, so that's what I'm excited for.
That's awesome. Well, good. Thanks everybody for introducing yourself. I'm going to have you each go around now and do a quick 2-minute pitch on your business. So Cody, we're going to start off with you. Tell the group what you're doing and tell about your business.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, I grew up in my dad's heating and cooling company. I worked in all through elementary school, junior high school, and high school. And for the longest time, how he'd run his business is he had a little notebook, right? And he'd write down all of his, a customer would call him and he'd write down, okay, here's the customer's name, here's their address. And then he had a separate book for writing down all of the appointment times. And, every time he'd lose his notebook, it'd be this big like family disaster, right? Oh no, the business is ground to a halt. Let's find his notebook. So what I did is we built a software application to just really organize and streamline his entire business. And what's interesting about this is a lot of companies like my dad's are still using these kind of manual paper methods. Some of them are a little bit more sophisticated. They'll use Excel and QuickBooks, but not many companies have really adopted this type of software. And so, what's great is this is a growing industry, has about 18% profitability. There was a survey that was roughly like 50% of companies have even touched some type of software system like this. And, where we're at is we've built it with 4 different companies. 3 companies are currently using it full time to run their entire business. And, between those companies, we've processed over $50,000 of online payments. We've generated over 1,200 invoices and estimates, totaling roughly $2.6 million. We've had 1,400 appointments scheduled for our companies and their customers. And we have about 4,000 customers in our system. So we're excited that we have a great product that companies are using and getting benefit from. And we're excited to keep growing it and see where we can take it.
Great. Thanks, Cody. Deval, Merrill, I'll have you talk about Hello GM.
Yes.
Sure.
Go ahead, Vidal.
Yeah. So basically we are Hello GM and we empower hoteliers with data science. So at Hello GM, we strongly believe that profitability of hotel business, in fact, any business, is the function of data-driven decision making. And when it comes to hotel business, the scenario is like hoteliers own multiple brand hotels, which have different kind of PMS systems where there is absolutely no standardization on how data is stored and displayed to end user. To make it worse, hoteliers also have to deal with different kind of peripheral systems like time clocking system or accounting system, or even online travel agencies from where they receive reservations and revenue. So when it comes to making data-driven decisions, hoteliers has to retrieve data from all these systems on a routinely basis and crunch this data to make informed decisions. And that is not only very error-prone and laborious, but also very expensive, which results into a situation only big hoteliers can afford to adopt this process in-house, and new hoteliers or small hoteliers are left out in a competition of doing this kind of decision making. So that's when I and the felt there was a need of building a solution which is not only affordable to every hotelier, but also very efficient in generating actionable insights for hotelier on day-to-day basis to help them maximize their productivity. And that's where we made HelloGM. HelloGM today, since we started our sales process in 2020, is serving 200 plus customers with about 300,000 in annual recurring revenue. Even through the tough COVID time, we were able to retain 98% of our clients continue using HelloGM, which gives us confidence that the value that we are providing to hotel industry is tremendous. And through MBC, now we look forward to take it to next level and start serving at least 10% of North America region and grow from there. Thank you.
Thanks, Viral. Malia?
Yeah, hi guys. So like I said, my company Defy Industries is a sanitization company. We use a fog application that adheres to surfaces and eliminates bacteria with our unique product combination of TiO2 and silver ions. Our product has nanoparticles that adhere to all surfaces about 6 to 8 inches off of the surface, then cleansing and eliminating the bacteria. We really want to help solve the problem of the omnipresent amount of germs in the world, the limited extent of cleaning services to scale, and the lack of reassurance that individuals are very fearful. And I've had to experience this firsthand with my grandma. She's very scared. I'm sure some of you guys have the same experience. Right now, we're competing in a growing sanitization service market, which has been emphasized more as of late in culture worldwide due to COVID-19. Overall, we really want to create peace of mind for our clients as well as their clients and create a lot of value. Starting in the MBC program, I had an established idea. And right now, just in 3 months of being in the program, I'm in pre-revenue and pre-launch with potential clients in the Salt Lake and Park City area. I've had guidance and support through the whole entire thing where I got to purchase my machinery and my product, which will be here at the end of the month, which is very exciting, as well as do all of the regulatory requirements and all of the marketing and sales needs I might have. So we're hoping to launch at the beginning of 2021. And then within the next few months, we're looking for funding to cover some of our operating costs, including our vehicles, so we can make sure that we can launch by 2021.
Thank you. Justin, why don't you give the crowd an introduction to Cinch?
Definitely. Thank you. So Cinch is a consumer data platform, a marketing automation tool, and artificial intelligence all under one software aspect. And for those that are not familiar with what a consumer data platform is, a consumer data platform takes all of the data from several different databases or locations that a business might have and brings those all into one location and then enriches that data. And so that enrichment means that we're taking third-party data and bringing in outside information. So a Jiffy Lube can know their customer base, their profiles, how much the people, what their income is, their gender, do they have kids living at home, and we're bringing in over 800 data points on those customers. And then we rolled up artificial intelligence over top of that now to help identify those needles in the haystack on similarities between different customers and their profiles. And then by having the marketing automation tool on top of that, we're able to automate communication and marketing as it goes out to different customers based on behaviors that they're having. And we're tracking all of those behaviors then by also bringing in all of the transactional data. And once we have all of the demographic data and all the psychographic or behavioral data on customers, we continue to run on artificial intelligence over top of that to really understand what behaviors those customers are taking based on other communications that are going out to them. And we found that this has been a very, very successful process for our customers. We've grown quite a bit over actually, thankfully to support from the NBC and processes there. We now currently have over 600 Jiffy Lube locations and are doing quite well with those locations. We have 7 full-time employees working with us, and we've just recently closed a partnership with Motorola that is giving us the ability to bring in an additional amount of data based on license plate reading technology and identifying who people are in the real world in a very similar way you would to cookies as you drive drive past a Jiffy Lube, for example, and being able to understand who those people are and that are driving by. Just about a month and a half, maybe 6 weeks ago, we concluded our first round of investment with a $500,000 convertible seed round, and brought on a very notable investor from Silicon Valley, and that has quite a bit of experience in startups and has sold several himself, and is very well known in the data science world and specifically artificial intelligence. And we are looking to raise a Series A, or our next round of funding, in the first half of next year. And so that's Cinch.
Great, thanks, Justin. Dylan, we'll close with you and then we'll go to some questions.
Thanks, Troy. So I'm the co-founder of Docs.me, which is a telemedicine service, which is like Skype for doctors. It actually started with my co-founder here at the University of Utah at a prenatal study. Basically, they wanted pregnant women will usually come into the office about 15 times throughout their pregnancy, and they wanted to run a study. Hey, this is crazy. Why do they have to come in 15 times? Why don't we just have it come in 5 times in person and 10 minutes via Skype? And what they found was when they tried to do that, they couldn't do it because the hospital wouldn't let them use Skype because it wasn't HIPAA compliant. Couldn't use FaceTime because it was HIPAA compliant. So we ended up needing to find something that was easy to use and affordable. Nothing existed. There was solutions at the time, Polycom, Cisco, but it would cost thousands of dollars for providers to use those systems in a HIPAA compliant way. Patients would have to physically get hardware to install, software to download, accounts to register for, just to see their provider in a HIPAA compliant way. Brandon thought this was crazy. We submitted the idea to a program called Bench the Bedside up at the University of Utah through the Ruslan program. We ended up winning the Consumer Choice Award, which gave us about $3,000 to go rebuild this product beyond the prototype stage for that prenatal study. We got such good feedback that we thought, hey, let's just open this up to the public and see what happens. That was in 2013, about right before COVID, and throughout the MBC program, we were doing about 12,000 doctor-patient visits a day, which we thought was pretty good. Stanford Hospital does about 7,000 inpatient visits a day. So we're like, we're bigger than Stanford, great. Then COVID happened. And as you can imagine, the need for telemedicine, just like the needs for Zoom, grew exponentially. Usually we had 100 doctors signing up, then it was 500, then 800, then 1,200. Ended up about 32,000 doctors were signing up a day. We never hit it, but we were just shy of 1 million doctor-patient visits a day. And now we're at about 550,000 visits a day. I'm not sure what percent of the US healthcare system is going through our systems, but I imagine it's a decent chunk. And we couldn't have done it without the MBC program. There's a lot to entrepreneurship, just the difficulties of creating a product people love, but then you have legal, financing, strategy, like Justin mentioned, trying to raise money or manage your cap table. All of these things are incredibly difficult and require skills that not one person can have, and having the support of the MBC is critical.
Great, thanks Dylan, and thanks everybody. So Lynchy and Megan, we'll open it up to some questions. Megan and Lynchy, are you there? Some questions?
Sorry, everybody, our internet glitched out for just a moment. We are pulling up some questions from our live virtual audience, but one that I have for all of you is how do you manage and balance the fear that comes with making some of these big decisions in entrepreneurship with the reward of taking some of those risks?
Well, let's throw that out to Justin, since you've done this a couple of times. So let's have you answer first, Justin, on that one.
Yeah, I think because I've done it a couple of times at this point, it doesn't even feel like there's a fear or risk. It just feels like it's life. And having started while I was in college, it didn't seem like with my first company, like there was much risk because I didn't have much to lose at that point. I did have my own money to spend, but I think from that aspect, it was definitely something that at this point, having a family and having kids is tough to balance the understanding of your family and the family time and the risk to reward on how much energy and time it takes to starting a business. And so I guess from that aspect, I'd just say it's been great having a very supportive wife and somebody that I can talk to and talk through the aspects that we need there.
Malia, since you're a first-time entrepreneur just coming right out of undergraduate, what's been the risk-reward decision for you?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just been the thrill of starting something. I'm sure some of us feel this way, but being able to start your own company and getting up every day to work for yourself and work for something that you believe in is really powerful. And so I think for me, just the risk of it all is exciting. And I just look forward to having the opportunity to kind of see what happens and see what unfolds. And you know what, if this isn't my right path and I follow in the footsteps of starting some other companies, that's okay, because I've been able to learn so much just from starting a company and being in the MBC program. You just get so much experience as a whole. And I think there's a positive way to look at taking it as a risk.
Hey, Dylan, I'm going to have you do the next question because I know you've got to jump to you've got a business to run. So question is, what service did you find that the MBC offered? What was the best thing that it offered to help you in your business? And you guys have been around for a while, and you'd had some interesting history with your business. So what was the thing that helped you most about the MBC program?
Honestly, the personal connections you make with the other peers in your cohort were really valuable to me. And also like you mentioned, the mentorship. For example, Paul Brown was our mentor. Paul Brown, he's invested and been on the boards of dozens, if not hundreds of health IT companies, and getting his experience and advice while what we're thinking about how we're doing this was a really great sounding board, especially having people that have done this before and going through it. It's kind of a cliche when people say entrepreneurship is kind of a lonely endeavor, and it really can be. And having a support group like the NBC where you can talk to each other and you can say, we're all facing the same problems. We're all trying to get our customers to love our products. We're trying to build this business, and it's just nice to be able to talk to somebody that's going through what you're going through, knows what it's like. And we had a lot of extra, I think, problem. Well, not every business has their problems. We had some legal hurdles with some bad partners we had to deal with, and being able to strategize at that like really strategic level with Troy, Jack, Paul, Taft, Price, and really being able to put our heads together on like, how can we run this business and deal with all these kind of extra hurdles that go along with it was really useful. And I'm incredibly thankful for the MBC program and you guys to help us during all that.
Thanks. Duval and Viral, I'm going to ask you, this is another question that's come in, is, what you both have, I want to ask two-part. One is, you both have a lot of business experience and you've come into an entrepreneurial endeavor now. What do you find helpful about the MBC program so far? You've only been in it a couple months. And then what do you see for the growth and sustainability of your business going forward? So take that first one. What do you find valuable? And then tell me how you're going to grow your business.
So actually, to be honest, we find all the classes and all mentor meetings useful. And the most useful thing for us right now is the financial modeling section, because we are doing things here and there, but the financial modeling gives us the where we stand, what we need to do to, come up with more resources, how we can grow our business to the next level. So that part is really useful for us, and it's helping us to put a pipeline for next three years, how many resources we need, even we need funding, how much money we will need, and all those things. That's amazingly useful for us.
Great. Thank you. And a question came in about raising capital, Cody, and I know you're right in the middle of thinking about that now. You've had a couple meetings with some local venture capital firms. So how's the NBC helping you formulate your capital needs, and how's it helping you in your discussions with the venture capitalists you've talked to so far?
Oh, it's helped a ton. I mean, I don't think I could get these meetings and be taken seriously without the work that we've done in the NBC. Because, they're very interested in your long-term financial projections and what, where that's going to take you. It's also really helped me nail down the underlying theory, okay, of my business and what I'm doing. And it's helped alleviate some of my worries about really differentiating myself. So all in all, it's been incredibly useful when talking to venture capital firms, and yeah, it's been great.
Great. And Justin, I had a question come in that was kind of specific. You've been a serial entrepreneur. How did the NBC program help you? And then specifically, how did it help you with Cinch in getting to this round of capital that you've raised?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. Paul Brown was brought up by Dylan there. Paul put it this way. He said, Justin, you've been a very scrappy entrepreneur for years, but now it's time to become a refined entrepreneur. And I think that really defined exactly what the NBC did for me. Was really helped me understand that, I can be grasping at all these little tiny ways to make money, and this way to make money, and that way, and have some smaller wins. But if I really want to make the big wins and go for that, then I need to be really refined and really focused. And that's what the NBC has really done for myself and for Cinch. In regards to specifically raising the round that we just did, it was very much that the introductions, being able to have a good pitch deck put together, have a good conversations, and really kind of to the point that Cody just brought up, is helping to be very succinct in defining who we are and what we do and what our value is that we're bringing to customers.
Great. Malia, I want to ask you a question came in. And your business is a little different. It's a service business, and you're in the position, like you say, of getting launched and looking to raise capital. How has the NBC program helped you think about what type of capital you raise, when to raise it, what you need to raise capital to be able to have a successful raise for your business?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think the NBC program, like everyone has mentioned, has helped us learn where our value is, do financial models. Deval just had mentioned that we've really dived into exactly what our financial model workbook looks like. And it's really helped me kind of realize exactly how much capital I need to raise, because we've broken down our cost of exactly what we need to do in order to actually perform this service. And, we don't have a lot of things except for actually doing the service and having things actually be done. So the NBC program has really helped me realize, here's the breakdown of exactly what you need to do, and go out and get money to actually fund it so you can perform a great service.
I think one of the things that with all of you, is what we use that, and we don't make an a priori decision that you're going to have to raise venture capital, or what we actually have you come from the standpoint of understanding your business, the theory of your business, Cody and Malia, getting your numbers really there and say, is this a venture capital backed business? Is this something I can bootstrap? Where am I actually what type of capital is best for my business and it's going to make me most successful? So I think that's one of the key things that the program helps refine, is what type of capital is best for your type of business. So, Justin, you touched on this about your network and things, and how that helped you. Deval and Viral, you're just into this now, and you need to build a network of investors, but how are you seeing the NBC program kind of help you network in the venture capital community or the entrepreneurial community today?
You want to take it, Dol, or?
Sure,
Yeah.
I'll take it then. So Troy, as a mentor, we have Taft as our mentor, and we already started connecting with different people. So with the help of the NBC program, we connected with one venture capital firm in Utah and started talking with them. We wanted somebody with the connection to hospitality industry in our VC, like as our VC, and we got the right connections. So we found the right person to reach out to, and that's how it helped.
And I think that's one of the key points about what we do, is it's kind of connecting you with the right person at the right time. That might be expertise, legal expertise. That might be connecting to the right investor. That might be finding somebody to help you with programming or software. So one of the things that's one of the things we offer at the Lassonde Institute is that network between alumni that we have out there. So we appreciate all of you who have helped us in connecting with student entrepreneurs, capital that we try and connect you to. We also have an internal seed fund. Malia, I know you're applying for our Get Seeded program. Justin, did you get some money from Get Seeded at some point? So
No, we didn't.
Okay, Malia, you're pitching for some money. Tell them what your ask for Get Seeded is for this month. I know it's coming up.
Yeah, so for Get Seeded, we put amount of money into the service so far. And so with Get Seeded, we asked for our safety equipment. We've put a lot of money into our machinery and our product and a lot of the PPE equipment that we need, we're asking for help for the PPE equipment. So it's been really great. And I'm really excited to get to have the opportunity to even do the Get Seeded pitch. So it'll be awesome.
So Get Seeded is a micro grant program that goes from small grants of $100 to up to $1,500 that are given to students. It's been historically sponsored by Zions Bank, but this year Chad and Selma, who's a successful entrepreneur alumni of the David Eccles School of Business, is sponsoring that program, about $50,000 that we'll give out over the course of the year. Doxy Me, also that Dylan's company, they came back and made a nice donation to this year to support Get Seeded, where they'd received some funding to help digital healthcare companies. So they're paying it back real time to us, which is great to have them do for us. So a question came in is, why did you pick this program over others? So Cody, why did you pick the University of Utah MBC program over what other things you could have done?
Sure. I mean, for me, it wasn't even close. Utah right now in particular, Salt Lake City down to Orem, this whole area just feels, I don't know how to describe it, almost magical right now. And the best way I can describe it is that there's just so much energy and excitement about creating businesses and creating new ventures that for me, it's just, it was such a natural fit. And I think that the University of Utah with this program is doing something really unique and special to help accelerate that even more.
Malia, we had a question come in for you specifically. What have been your challenges as a first-time entrepreneur starting a business right out of undergraduate school? So you answered the risk return, but what are the challenges? What scares you the most about doing this as far as just the implementation?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think that's a really good question. The fear that I have, I guess, is all driving from, here's one thing. You're always going to have people that will tell you that your company's not going to be successful or you're too young. I'm 22 and going on this great adventure and I'm really excited for it. And I think just having the drive and excitement to push yourself to actually do it, and the fear can just drive into that excitement. Am I fearful that this isn't going to work and people actually telling me that it's not is a thing? But I think for me, just going into it right at the get-go, it's been fun just to get to learn from the NBC program. They've been an amazing support system for me and just helping me go in the right direction and do the right things in order to be successful. But there's definitely fear that goes into being a first-time entrepreneur, but drive that fear into excitement so then you can just put it into drive to make your company as great as you can. Give it your all.
So I'm going to ask Viral, because you have a long history working as software engineer background. Viral, you've jumped into an entrepreneurial endeavor. What's the thing you find the most exciting about being an entrepreneur? What's the thing that you worry most about it? And give us kind of what, now you've got your feet under you. You guys have been doing this for a while. What is it? What are you seeing in it?
Yeah, so I would say most of the people in my position would always have a fear of losing giving up something that you already do good and really gives you good financial opportunity to jumping into something which is completely new and you don't really know whether it's gonna be successful or not financially. I always believe that if to mitigate that fear, is the best way to mitigate that fear is always trust that financial prospect is the side product or byproduct of anything that you do in a very successful way. So we at HelloGym always believe that when we launch one feature or we fix one critical bug, we make that as part of our accomplishment and joy, then what it gonna add in terms of financial growth to our business. And that's something keeps us moving. And I believe once we make that as our criteria for satisfaction and achievement, money is going to flow. And that's how I and Dhaval work in daily basis, and that works good for us.
Fantastic. Deval, how has this changed your work-life balance? You're juggling a lot of things. You're in the MBC program. You've got a family. You've got a business. How are you managing all of those things? And what do you find the ways that how do you manage the stress and keep your sanity?
Yeah, it's a big lifestyle change so I was in sales and I had to travel a lot. So I'll be traveling a few days a week outside, and joining the MBC program, that free, doing in the, as a full-time our own startup. Now that part gone away. So I have more time now. And with the MBC program, we have to spend a lot of time on the weekend to fill up the assignments and all, but still we are managing. We are so passionate about what we are doing, so the time doesn't feel like a problem. So try to answer you we are managing things, we are enjoying our classes, we are doing our assignments, and we are taking care of our 200 plus customers as well. And it's because of the passion it's happening.
Great. You just sleep less, right? That's the answer, right? Hey, Justin, I want to ask you, and this question came in, is how has the cohort helped you? But I also want to know, I mean, you and your team, because of your background last year, were incredibly helpful to the other members, the other founders in the cohort last year. So tell me about some of that interaction that you had, who helped you, how you were able to help some other people in the MBC cohort last year.
Yeah, I think like Dylan had mentioned, one of the biggest things that was really helpful is just knowing that there are other people that are going through some of the similar things that you're going through, and being able to lean on them in those conversations, but from an emotional intelligence aspect. And I think that with all of us, we were all in different places. We all had different experiences, and there were definitely one of the just networking experiences. Annika from our cohort had introduced me to somebody that was very influential in helping us get some excitement, some energy going at a time when we were struggling to get traction at the beginning and reach out to people. And so that was a very big boost in our morale. And so events like that would happen quite often. And it was always just exciting to be able to help anybody and kind of return those favors, right? Whenever other people were giving insights or network connections, to be able to return that.
And I might say, Justin, we actually have last year's cohort has been meeting with this year's cohort on a fairly regular basis and talking and sharing ideas. There were about 20 companies in Justin's cohort with 26 founders. So we actually admit teams of people into this as opposed to just individuals. We admit company teams into this. And Cody, what have you found as far as a first-year student into this program of the network? We've got 15 companies, 18 founders in the cohort this year. What are you finding the interaction as that? It's a little different operating in a COVID environment. We had everybody in an office last year and in classrooms, and so a lot more Zoom, but a lot of interaction as well. So what have you found helpful from the cohort, Cody?
It's been great. There's the official mentors that are the teaching staff, but then I look at some of the other companies and the people in them as mentors as well. Dhaval's given me great advice in the past that I still remember, and even the past alumni, I'm making connections with them, and we're coming up with ideas on how we can collaborate and maybe benefit from each other. So the overall network is great, and we have a Slack channel set up, so at any point we can just message each other, and I really like it. And they've all started to become we're pretty close.
So a question came in for me that said, what's the most common resource advice you get? And really, I think the thing is when people get stuck, to get them unstuck. And it might be legal advice, it might be financing, it might be something stuck in their marketing and sales channel. And it's getting them connected with the right person at the right time, as Dhaval said, that they got somebody, you got connected with the right person. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have, is that nobody can have a perfect network, know everybody. And sometimes it's just facilitating getting connected with the right person at the right time. Maybe that's even one of our other mentoring faculty, to have Taft or Paul sit down with them and talk about marketing or sales with Jeff Davis, or financial projections with Taft. and just helping them get unstuck, because sometimes you just run into this roadblock and you don't know how to go through the wall, and sometimes it's a matter of going around it or going under it rather than trying to break through it. And so it's just helping people that way. And so the last question I'm going to have each of you take just 30 seconds. Question is, where do you see your company in 1 year, 5 years from now? So Deval, I'm going to start off with you, and Vero, where do you guys want to be in a year or 5 years from now?
So within a year, we will be recognized name in the hospitality industry. And in 5 years, we'll be de facto standard for small business data analytics platform space.
Fantastic. Malaya, how about you?
Yeah, in a year, we would love to have or generate revenue. Right now, we're still in the process of getting clients. We do have potential clients. So in a year, I would say gain at least, we have about like 100 clients that we would like to gain by the end of the year, because we're a repeat service. So that would be awesome. And then in 5 years, we'd love to expand. Right now, we're focusing on Salt Lake and Park City, but hopefully in 5 years can expand to Utah or the Western region.
Great. Cody, how about you? What do you see yourself in a year and 5 years from now?
So I see Home Service Cloud in the next year launching our second product, which is going to be a virtual office services for these service companies. And the next 5 years, we want Home Service Cloud to be positioned and recognized as an industry leader in leading the automation of office service companies' office operations.
Justin, you've get some good traction. You've just raised a round. Where do you see yourself in a year and 5 years from now?
So in a year, hopefully we'll have closed our next round and have 18 to 24 months of runway from that round. Hopefully our target is to be around an $8 million in revenue, annual recurring revenue at that point. And in 5 years, the hope would be to have Cinch as a well-recognized mid-market and SMB data expert, being able to automate that and really close the data gap between the big businesses and small businesses.
Thank you, everybody. And I just want to say, from the MBC standpoint, where we see ourselves in a year from now is we see getting better at this. We're a startup too. We had our first year last year. This is our second year. We're better this year. And 5 years from now, we hope to see the MBC program recognized like the MBA program as a national brand that's very unique. We're looking at some expansion in maybe some international markets and some developing world markets where we might be able to take this and help entrepreneurs in other markets. Jack, I want to ask you, just in kind of closing up too, you've been around business schools for a long time, been around students for a long time. Just give your kind of closing on what you see about this MBC and the Lassonde Institute and 20 years of doing this and with the David Eccles School of Business.
Well, just, what recognition, I'd say recognition always trails quality, and our recognition is just going up and up and up. I think we're doing some very unique things, both with the Lassonde Institute and now with the MBC program. And, I hope, and I think we are building a really strong alumni group. Both Lassonde and MBC will be a piece of that. And it's, it's sustaining us. And I think it's, again, an exceptional program. We'd like to be able to scale it up a little bit, but always with quality companies. And, if you had asked me 20 years ago where we'd be today, I couldn't have even imagined it. And today we're doing kind of beyond our imagination. So there's tremendous, potential in this program as we roll it out. The international interest is quite interesting. And so Troy, all we got to do is just live another 20 years and we can tell the story.
Yeah, and absolutely. One closing is that we're now ranked, all of our programs, we're ranked in the top 10 in the 3 major rankings for entrepreneurship programs in the country. And so we're very excited about that. And so thank you all for spending the day with us. Lenchi and Megan, I'll turn it back to you to kind of close out our program today.
Thank you all for that incredible discussion. I hope all of our viewers are feeling as inspired as I know Megan and I are here at the David Eccles School of Business. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We have live events happening every Thursday around noon, so be sure to tune in. Next week, we will be talking about the business of sports on Thursday, October 29th from 12 to 1 Mountain Time. We have an awesome panel that you are not going to want to miss out on. So be sure to RSVP by going to eccles.link/road trip, and we'll make sure to get you the live link ahead of time. Also, we'd like to once again thank our generous sponsor, CR England, and thank all of you for continuing to tune in each week and hear from our incredible panels. We hope you have a wonderful Thursday afternoon and an even better weekend. Thank you so much, and go Utes.